I think once everyone's here, we'll all switch on our cameras. We'll take some good photographs.
Can we start, Anika?
Kavya ma'am has not joined. Just give me one.
You may start. In the meantime, she will join in.
Right, ma'am. Just 1 second. Here. So, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible, Anika.
Right. Good morning, everyone. Continuing our session. I, Anika Mittal, on behalf of AISG 46, would like to welcome Piyush Vardhani ma'am, our resource person for the day, and with the Tulsi sapling. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Anika. Thank you so much.
Ms. Piyush Vardhani commenced her teaching career with Amity International School in 2007, and since 2007 she has been the faculty of legal studies. Overall, she has 15 years of teaching experience, and she is a member of the CBSE Core Expert Committee of Legal Studies and is involved in development of sample question paper, review of syllabus and rationalization of the syllabus. She also was associated with AFWWA and has conducted classes for adult education and art and craft as per her initiative. We welcome you wholeheartedly, ma'am, to this session, and I would like to pass on the baton to you now to carry on with the session.
Thank you so much, Anika. I joined Amity as an English teacher, and I taught English for a very long time. And
Right.
I joined legal studies when the school opted for this option, and I also showed my interest. Being a law graduate, I was very keen on teaching legal studies also. So initially in 2007, and for a very long time, I have been teaching English. So I would like to now share my screen. Please tell me if you can see the screen.
Yes, ma'am, the screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. So we'll start on a very positive note. Has the screen vanished?
No,
Ma'am, it is
No,
there.
no,
It
it
is
is
there.
there.
Okay. So
It
I
is
would
there.
like to start on a very positive note and express my gratitude to Founder President Sir Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan ji, and also to our chairperson ma'am, Dr. Mrs. Amita Chauhan ji. They have been very instrumental in giving us this wonderful opportunity, in where we can learn a lot, where we have been given the platform to interact, to further hone our skills. Last year when I took two PDPs, I was, nervous. I remember in the first PDP I was very nervous, but I have realized that this kind of exposure really helps you in becoming more confident about yourself. And plus, the other advantage of having this platform is that whatever learning at an individual level that we do throughout the year, we tend to, get a chance to share with each other. Because in our previous PDPs, I've learned so much from Madhvi, I've learned from Sonal, and we all have learned so much from each other. And and at the end of the day, it is the students who are the beneficiaries of our learning and what we share with each other. So thank you so much, sir and ma'am, for giving us this opportunity. Now, moving on, I'm going to today discuss case laws in legal studies. Without case laws, without these case studies, this subject is nothing. So very important aspect of our subject is the case studies. Now, what are the case laws? So let's very quickly and briefly understand what are the case laws. Case law is the collection of past legal decisions written by courts and similar tribunals in the course of deciding cases in which the law was analyzed using these cases to resolve ambiguities for deciding current cases. We know that legal decisions or precedents are an important source of law. So when we discuss these case laws, we are telling children how they have become a source of law. And looking at our project also, our project is also based on the legal decisions. In fact, the two parts of the legal decisions. And these past decisions are called case laws or precedent. We also need to understand and convey to the children that what is the importance of case law. Case laws adds to our understanding of the guidelines when the court interprets aspects of the guidelines that may be unclear, or when the court makes a decision about how the guidelines should be applied to a case with a particular set of facts. So the very first thing that we are teaching the children, we teach judiciary also in class 11th, and we teach judiciary is the first unit in class 12th, and we are telling them about one of the important functions of the judiciary, that is interpretation of laws. So when we discuss the case laws, we are telling them how judiciary interprets the laws which are written, but they need constant interpretation, and interpretation plays a very important role, especially where the law is not clear or there is some ambiguity. That's when the court steps in to interpret that law. Now, there is this brief interesting quiz on the case laws, which are very famous cases. So let's take a look at this, and I would appreciate if you guys can participate and give me the answer in this. Which landmark constitutional case is known as the Mandal case?
A option.
Indra Sane.
Indra Sawhney versus Union of India.
Union of India.
Okay, so this is one case, Mandal Commission, our children read it in detail in Pol Science. Pol Science mein Mandal case is in detail, it's really in detail in class 12. So although Indra Sawhney is not as such, or Mandal case is not as such in our syllabus, but we can, tell them a little bit about it, because any learning, if we teach them here, it's going to benefit them in the other subject. A landmark case of the Supreme Court talked about speedy trial.
Husainura Khatun.
B.
Yeah, and this is very much, yes, this is Husainura Khatun versus Home Secretary State of Bihar. This is apparently the first PIL, and we also teach them in our syllabus about Husainura Khatun versus State of Bihar. So it was about the speedy trial of the inmates of the prisons of Bihar. In which landmark case the Supreme Court held that Muslim women have the right to maintenance?
Mohammed Ahmed Shahbaz.
Yeah, this is really an important case. I don't know, I'm sure it must have happened at your end also. But when we give the students to pick any 5 cases, we give them the freedom to pick any 5 cases. I've seen that majority of the students pick up Shah Bano case. How is it with you? When you give them the freedom to pick any 5 cases in the project, do they pick this case, Shah Bano case?
Yes, ma'am.
Last year, most of my students picked up Nirbhaya case.
Yeah, Nirbhaya is very popular. Shah Bano
Nirbhaya case and Mathura case.
Mathura
Shah Bano, hardly 2-3 students they picked up Shah Bano case, but most of them picked up Nirbhaya case.
Okay.
And
so
then
Shah Bano,
Bharti case.
Keshwananda Bharti goes without saying. And equally, I have seen at least in a class of 20-25, I believe at least 10 would, pick up Shah Bano case. So it would, become at times very repetitive for the examiner to, talk about the same case. Nevertheless, very important case. And also the relationship, when we're teaching them the relationship between executive and legislature, जब हम 3 judges case कराते हैं, तो उस time भी we can, quote this case, what was the relation between the judiciary and the legislature at this point with this case. In which landmark legal case court explained the procedure established by law?
Minerva Mills?
Which is the answer?
Minerva Mills, am I wrong? No,
Is it D?
procedure established by law, na Menka Gandhi. Sorry.
Menaka Gandhi. Yeah, this is from the book only. Procedure
Right.
established by law. हम बच्चों को we teach them in our syllabus. Very much the wordings of the book only. So this is Menaka Gandhi. We read this case at two places. One where the procedure established by law provision is there, and one we also very clearly tell them about the doctrine of Audi alteram partem. In which landmark legal case the Supreme Court held the right to legal aid as a fundamental right?
I think Sheila Berse.
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. This is Sheila Barse versus Union of India. Again, this case is from our syllabus. We teach them children about this case. Now, cases play a very important role. We have seen it happening. We discuss a lot of cases in judiciary. We discuss a lot of cases in property. There is Carlyle versus Carbolic smoke ball, and then contract also. Contract we discuss this thing, and then Carlyle, and then in torts we discuss Donoghue. And we discuss Bhopal gas tragedy. Now, on the basis of your experience teaching legal studies, which case do you think is most discussed in the class? And if you can also tell me, why do you think this is the most discussed case in the class?
Ma'am, can I say?
Yeah, bilkul, absolutely.
Yeah. Ma'am, for me, I think Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company, like you said, I discuss it the most because it's a case on general offer. And most of all, I find it more interesting because इस केस में कंपनी ने जो contentions दी and क्यों क्यों कोर्ट ने वो negate करी contentions, ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग होता है. ज्यादातर जो हम बुक में केस लॉ देखते हैं उसमें सिर्फ हेल्ड डाउन होता है, फैक्ट्स नहीं होते, लेकिन ये एक वन ऑफ दोस केस है जिसमें फैक्ट्स भी दिए हुए हैं एंड काफी डिटेल में दिया हुआ है एंड ये सीबीएसई भी बहुत ज्यादा पूछता है. सो आई ऑलवेज फाइंड इट फैसिनेटिंग टू टीच दिस केस. Carlyle versus
Carlyle is very interesting because we are teaching them many aspects. When we teach them, we tell them about general offer, and this is very pertinent also because we people are also buying so many of products. So we need to know what is a general offer and how legal relationship is created. Yes, let's have it from Anika.
Ma'am, I think first is Carlyle and Donoghue system. Both of them are very discussed cases. I also, although it is not there, I also discussed the Ryland versus Fletcher case since it is there.
Ryland and Fletcher, yes, very important.
But one case that I felt that it is discussed because students are unable to grasp the concept of that case, that is M.H. George versus State of Maharashtra. They are unable to understand what is written in the book from that point of time, and what and the discussion that ensures from this topic that ignorance of law is not an excuse.
Not an excuse.
The discussion that came out of this was how do you expect everyone to know what is the law of the country? And I am like, you are supposed to know what is the law of the country.
You are supposed to know, absolutely.
And to say that, but you cannot have, and the students have very strong opinions on this, that one cannot expect us. They say that we know this fact that we are supposed to know law, we also came to know because we are taking legal studies. How do you expect everyone else to know about this? They don't even know that they cannot say this in the court. So this one thing that when one of my students pointed it out, I was like, yes, you are right. But that is our role as people who are studying legal studies, to spread awareness as much as we can. Not only the government, don't blame the government for everything. You can also spread awareness for this.
Right, very rightly said. Legal awareness need to be spread by the people who know about law. Yes, Kavya?
Yes, ma'am. For me, it is Ryland versus Fletcher and also MC Mehta versus Union of India. That is Shriram Food and Fertilizer case. So there are times when I feel that students face a lot of difficulties in demarcating the difference between absolute liability and strict liability.
Strict liability,
so when
right.
you try to explain the difference with the help of case laws, this is where they try to get the concept. So for me, the most discussed cases would be these two, that is Ryland versus Fletcher, and the second one is MC Mehta case.
Okay, Sonal ma'am?
It is same Carlyle versus Carbolic and Bhopal gas tragedy. Same thing, that the difference between the strict liability and absolute liability. And also this Menaka Gandhi versus Union of India.
Okay, I have seen children are very aware of this case, Keshwananda Bharti. Most of them know about it. Okay, so
Yes.
first thing, they may not know about the facts of the case, but they have heard of the case. So the one case that maximum students know about is, at least the name is Keshwananda Bharti case. First thing they will, and if option is given, most of them will pick up Keshwananda Bharti case in whatever question it fits in. So it's a very popular case that way. But the cases that are, children really enjoy discussing and understanding is, of course, Carlyle is very interesting. And then we can twist it and present it in many forms. We can, continuously ask them in very different way by making up a case study based on Carlyle. Donoghue is absolutely very interesting. Donoghue के साथ we can discuss a lot of recent case also. मैं जो McDonald का जो वो था, the penalty that was coffee वाला जो था. So you get an opportunity to discuss related cases also. Then Bhopal gas tragedy is also one that needs to be discussed in detail in the class, because it's it's a very it's really sad that the people had to suffer in the absence of the law. So that is one case that we often discuss. And Menaka Gandhi is equally important. Children are fascinated by this case because it involves the so-called first family of India. So they find it very, very fascinating.
Piyush ma'am, just one question.
Yeah.
I hope this is not off topic, but I just want to ask that how do you deal with this fact that when students are discussing the case of absolute and strict liability, yes. So
Okay.
in that whenever they get a MCQ question on this, they often get confused whether to mark on strict liability or absolute. The question is clear and both options are there. So I just tell them, if it is written that this is in India, then go for absolute liability. Otherwise, you always mark strict liability as the answer. But I don't feel this is a very justified explanation. But is there any other method of telling them how to differentiate between
The
them?
other method is whenever corporations are involved, big corporations are involved, that's where we invoke absolute liability. तो अगर हम क्वेश्चन को देख लेंगे, अगर क्वेश्चन में कॉर्पोरेशन है, इट्स अ बिग इंडस्ट्री और बिग इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट इन्वॉल्व, देन इट इज एब्सोल्यूट लाइबिलिटी. आई हैव टोल्ड चिल्ड्रन टू आइडेंटिफाई इट लाइक दिस, बिकॉज हैजार्डस दोनों में है, even in strict. And defense strict mein to of course we have act of God, which is of course not mentioned in the book, but we tell them as teachers, we tell them that there is defense in strict liability, but absolute there is no defense. So what I have told you, this is very confusing question. And I remember in one of the board papers checking, when the answer key was being discussed, we gave the benefit of doubt to the students by considering both absolute and strict liability, because there was ambiguity in the question. Right. So we tell them that if a corporation is there, a big corporation is involved, then we will invoke the doctrine of absolute liability. That is one way of identifying it.
And ma'am, there is a specified formula for this. Absolute liability is equal to strict liability minus exceptions. So we have a very specified formula for the same. So if child is able to perceive the question, they have to perceive the question keeping in mind what is the formula for it. So they can go ahead with the correct option.
Kavya ma'am, the only reason why I don't give them this formula is because the book does not discuss about any of the exceptions.
Yes.
Discuss.
Kavya,
Yes, ma'am,
Anika
that's
is
a very
right. Book में बहुत missing है. There are parts which needs to be reworked and clarity should be there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
This leads to a lot of ambiguity. Answer may be very close. At times, question is so ambiguous that both strict liability and absolute is the correct answer. So we at times say whatever. I mean, I've told them if a corporation is involved, then they go for absolute liability. अगर question में clarity है corporation की, तो they go for it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So that was about the various case laws that we discuss in the class, and it makes class suddenly very lively. And of course, we allow children to discuss many other things also in the class, like Sonal ma'am said, Nirbhaya bahut discuss karte hain bacche. So Nirbhaya case often comes into our discussion. Our normal discussion also Nirbhaya case bahut aa jata hai, and very new cases also which are making the headlines. They are also discussed in the class, and these law cases really brights up the class. So I'm going to, take up Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company. Like we said, this is the most discussed case in the class, and I have come across this very beautiful video, which I'd like to show it to you. Please tell me if you can hear the audio.
Advertisers are a creative bunch. They entice us
Yes,
with
we can.
flashy images and promises that their product is better, faster, tastier, or stronger. Those promises are often so vague or so silly that they can't be taken seriously. But sometimes advertisers make outlandish promises that customers do take seriously. Carlyle versus the Carbolic Smokeball Company is one such case. The Carbolic Smokeball Company sold a product that, when ignited, released carbolic acid smoke. During an 1891 influenza outbreak, the company ran an advertisement in London's Pall Mall Gazette. It offered 100 British pounds to anyone who caught the flu or a cold after using the smoke ball as directed, 3 times a day for 2 weeks. The ad further stated that 1,000 pounds had been deposited at a specified bank to demonstrate the company's sincerity. Louisa Elizabeth Carlyle used a smoke ball as directed for nearly 2 months, but she still caught the flu. She then sued the company for the promised 100 pounds. The Queen's Bench, Sir Henry Hawkins, 1st Baron Brampton, ruled that she was entitled to the money. The company appealed to the Court of Appeal.
So this is the case, and this is how we can tell them and ignite their spirit in interest in the various cases. The way we there are many videos available on YouTube regarding this particular case. And how important do you feel that children remember the things when we show them the audio visuals, or vis-a-vis the learning that we teach them in the class? Which do you think has been more effective in catching the attention
It
of
is
the children?
audio visual
Audio
is
videos. Audio
more
videos are
important.
very effective. Yes, they are very effective.
Ma'am,
If you show them certain thing, then it stays with them for a very long duration. So what we can do here is that we can, especially important cases, we can show them these little videos, which will leave a longer impact on their mind, and they will be able to recall most of the facts of the case. Again, Carlyle versus Carbolic Smokeball is very important. And this time, while making the questions for the sample question paper, we were contemplating how we can ask a new question from this case, because this case has been explored in a number of ways. So how can a new question be framed which is different from, we are not asking the children about general offer. So what can we ask? So we have tried to make few questions in which we are absolutely not, asking the children about general offer, because general offer, angle we have really explored a lot. And most of the time children remember this case for general offer. Okay, general offer ही पूछा होगा. So general offer ना पूछकर इस बार we have tried to explore this question in a different way. So again, a very important case study as far as our syllabus is concerned. So moving on to Donoghue versus Stevenson. Okay, the next, I believe, most discussed case in our syllabus.
In this video, we'll have a look at Donoghue and Stevenson. On the evening of 26th August 1928, Mary Donoghue went to Wellmeadow Cafe in Paisley, Scotland, with her friend. The friend ordered a pear and ice for herself and a Scotsman ice cream float, a mix of ice cream and ginger beer, for Donoghue. The owner of the cafe brought over a tumbler of ice cream and poured ginger beer on it from a brown and opaque bottle labeled D. Stevenson, Glen Lane, Paisley. Donoghue drank some of the ice cream float. Donoghue's friend poured the remaining ginger beer into the tumbler, and a decomposed snail also floated out of the bottle. Donoghue claimed that she felt ill from the sight, complaining of abdominal pain. She received emergency treatment and subsequently diagnosed with severe gastroenteritis and shock. The case of Donahue and Stevenson establishes three major legal principles. Number one, it established that negligence is a tort. As the defendant has not purchased the ginger beer, she could not establish any contractual agreement with Stevenson, the ginger beer manufacturer. Two, the manufacturer has a duty of care to the final consumer. And finally, number three, the neighbor principle, the rule that you must love thy neighbor, which becomes in law as you must not injure your neighbor.
Okay, so we have seen this is again very important case, Donoghue versus Stevenson. Now, more than the three elements of this particular, tort of negligence, the three elements, I believe the question that really confuses the children is reasonable foresightedness. If you give them a question from reasonable foresightedness, that's where they, they are not able to identify that it's a negligence of tort, and they really get confused, because most of the time they would either want Donoghue, straight question Donoghue, or they would like a similar question where you change the name of the plaintiff and the defendant, and you change the name of the drink. But if you give them some other question related to reasonable foresightedness, which can be anything, then that's where they get confused. So I personally believe that we really need to tell them about giving various situations on reasonable foresightedness. Yes, Madhvi ma'am, you were about to say something?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so how do you deal with reasonable foresightedness? What kind of questions and situations and examples do you give from reasonable foresightedness?
हम reasonable foresightedness में हम ये कह सकते हैं कि something which is imminent to us, like अगर कोई ऐसी चीज, like if a person gets nervous shock from far sightedness, तो वहां पे that is not that damage is not reasonably foreseeable. जैसे suppose road पे accident हुआ and there is an extra sensitive person who gets nervous shock in sitting right in the house, so
That's right.
negligence is not reasonably foresighted.
Yes, Anika ma'am.
Ma'am, reasonable foresightedness, I give them two examples. Very simple. If you're driving very carefully, everything, you would not foresee an accident coming up. But if you're driving on the wrong side, you always have this fear that you can, because some person will not expect you coming from that side. So there is always a fear that you are going to hit someone. That's why no one drives on the wrong side of the tracks. So I generally give them this example, and after that I discuss what is nervous shock. So for example, in some cases, that if there is an accident and a passerby sees that accident and then goes into a nervous shock, then that is something one might not expect, but court says that you can expect this, because you have for example, you were driving on the wrong side, you hit someone, there was a passerby who saw the accident and went into a shock. So at that point of time, yes. But if it is after 1 hour someone sees that accident and no one has tended to that accident, then you might not be able to see it. So giving them various examples in the same situation only will create that reasonable foresightedness concept, because what they can associate immediately will be reasonable foresight, what they cannot associate, that will not be reasonable foresight.
A question that has come in the board paper. If you all remember, there's this question which has come in the board paper that talked about a company that was into the manufacturing of undergarments, and there was some person who had allergy using that set of undergarments, so he sued the company. So we can also give such kind of examples, because here children really get confused. What is to be done? The thing is, when they read it, they first thing they need to identify what is being, which unit they have to concentrate on, what particular aspect of law. So this is one thing. Donoghue versus, जैसे कार्लिल में मैंने आपको अभी बताया था कि this time, we were exploring कि हम general offer से related कुछ भी ना पूछें, but we want to keep Carlyle since it's a very important case. So some other angle of Carlyle versus carbolic smoke ball. Similarly, in Donoghue, we change the situation. We give them a lot of application-based questions wherein the children master this concept of reasonable foresightedness. What is this? So again, very important, aspect.
Leave a comment below.
Okay. Now, I would also like to show you one more video on Bhopal gas tragedy. It is, nice something I have come across. It's a very nice video, very impactful. So that's about Bhopal gas tragedy, a very important case that we really need to discuss with the children, because when this case happened, there was no law. The government, the judiciary did not know. The government did not know how to book the culprits. So very important to discuss, and also how strict liability has further been improvised. We can say improvised by the Supreme Court of India. So this is one case which children are also are aware of. To some extent we can say they have heard of it, and we can further discuss this case with the children. And also in the meantime, when I tell them about industrial disaster, like this is the biggest industrial disaster the world has ever seen, and especially in case of India, this is the biggest disaster. But while discussing these things, we can also discuss, I generally take up Chernobyl as well. So that is why we say that the students of legal studies are very smart, because when we are teaching them something, we also would like to tell them about other related disasters. It's not like in my syllabus we have only Bhopal gas tragedy, so I'm going to stick to only Bhopal gas tragedy. There are many industrial disasters that have taken place world over, and we can briefly tell them about that. And this also keeps the children very interested, क्योंकि बहुत interactive हो जाता है. There are children who are very good readers, so they know about it and they would like to tell the class about it. And this is how their general awareness about the world that we live in also increases. So any particular this thing which is related to this case, that when you discuss it in the class, how the children perceive it, how sensitive are they? Anything that you would like to share here?
I think, ma'am, mainly one thing that I have discussed this once right now, and I think the main question that I've got from children is that why was there no justice for what happened? Like why later on when the law came in, why was there no justice for the people?
So yes, this is very perplexing. The people are still fighting for justice. It's been so many years, and the people are, like the documentary said, that 15,000 is what the victim has got. So this is a mockery. This is mockery of the life of human. So yes, children do have this question, and they do feel very sad with the fact that we did not have enough laws. So they understand the power of law. Without law, you cannot apprehend the culprit. You need to have laws in place. So this is one example wherein you can, really tell the children how important it is to have laws. And I also get an opportunity, to tell them that how India is a very, reactive society. We react to situation. Like निर्भया का जब भी हम डिस्कस करते हैं केस, one thing that children always ask me, why do we have to wait for one such case before the laws can be made? Why can't we make it before? Why do we have to sacrifice people and then we, wake up and then we make laws? So this is one thing where you can, tell them that how our society and how our institutions are very reactive to situation. They are not proactive. Proactive societies होती हैं जो laws पहले से बनाती है. Reactive वो होती हैं जब demand हो जाती है, जब cases हो जाते हैं, then they are reactionaries. Yes, Sonal ma'am?
This is the exact thing we also discussed, that why we wait for something, some kind of a disaster to happen to introduce new laws. Why can't we take action in advance? That okay,
Absolutely.
one thing is keeping in mind the current scenario. Yes, Nirbhaya is a totally different thing. I mean, the very sad thing happened. But the children also talk about the thing that even after Nirbhaya case, these kind of instances have not stopped. There are still cases coming up.
They are very much happening. But the difference is, ma'am, now the laws are in place. And the loopholes in the laws, they have been, plugged. So we need to have laws in place.
But still, again, the pendency of cases.
Against the pendency of cases. Now, new law minister has promised. Delayed. Let's see, justice delayed is justice denied for sure. And the new law minister has promised that he will fill up the vacancies.
He will fill up the vacancies.
The vacancies. Most of the courts are empty. They do not have judges. When I took the children to the court visit, believe me, the first thing that we went was a POCSO court. So POCSO court में case चल रहा था. There was this little child. Of course, the child was not in the court. The mother was there, and the culprit was there, and cross examination चल रहा था उस समय. And the judge explained everything to the children. उन्होंने सब कुछ हमें बच्चों को बहुत अच्छे से explain करा. ये mother है victim की, ये culprit है. I had around 26 students roughly standing in that court, and I can't tell you what kind of lasers they were throwing at the culprit. उनका अगर बस चलता तो उसी moment वो उसको मार देते बच्चे, जिस तरीके से देख रहे थे. And पूरा procedure समझने के बाद, and then one of the judge, the judge, presiding judge, asked the children to ask the question. तो ये pendency पे एक question बच्चे ने पूछा था कि सर हमारे courts में इतनी pendency क्यों है, क्यों इतना साल लग जाता है. तो उन्होंने पूरा का पूरा explain करा. उन्होंने अपने ही कोर्ट को explain करते हुए बताया कि देखो आज मेरा ये केस चल रहा है, अब इनकी अगर सुनवाई हो गई तो ये चलेगा करीब 4-5 बजे तक. तो मेरी जितने भी पीछे मैंने आज जिनको भी डेट्स दे रखी हैं वो सारी मुझे रीअसाइन करनी पड़ेंगी. तो कहते हैं सर लेकिन ये तो गलत है, आपने मतलब ऐसे क्यों. तो कहते हैं कि हमें थोड़ी ना पता है कि आज सुनवाई हो जाएगी, आज विटनेस आ जाएगा. सो हमारा जो पूरा का पूरा जो प्रोसीजर है ना, दैट इज वी रियली नीड टू रिवैम्प द एंटायर सिस्टम. पूरे सिस्टम को रिवैम्प करना है. एंड मैं इनको जब कोर्ट के प्रोसीजर्स वीजा वी यूएस बताते हैं, लाइक परजरी इज अ वेरी सीरियस क्राइम इन यूएस. People dare not speak any lie in the court. They don't spare anyone. In India, most of the people would tell a truth outside the court, but the moment you enter the court, you start telling lies. It is so, because nobody has been booked for perjury ever in India. So वहाँ perjury के लिए तो it's a very serious crime. And वहाँ जो 90 days का trial होता है, if it exceeds that, तो उसकी तो penalty बहुत high होती है. The kind of penalties that US court gives, यहाँ पर तो it goes on and on and on. So pendency definitely, judiciary, like personally I feel if two grown-up people who are married to each other, if they don't want to live anymore, why should the court keep on postponing it? कि पहले 6 महीने देखो, पहले 1 साल देखो, पहले 2 साल देखो, ये करो. They are grown-up human beings, okay? They know what they want. What you are doing, you are piling on the cases. आप pile on कर रहे हो. And in India, pile on जो होता है वो हजारों के उससे होता है. Thousands cases get piled up in a day. So why?
Because of our population.
Because of population and because of the laws are also very complex. If 2 people want to get the divorce, why do you need to postpone it for years? Let them take the divorce. No, why do you want to delay it by 1 year or 2 years? If they want to live again, they can get married again. What is the issue? Who is stopping them?
True.
Same issue. I was once interning in family court only, and I asked the same question to the judge also, that there are so many courts at the same time, same instance, maintenance cases are going on in 4 different
Seriously?
courts.
Seriously?
महिला कोर्ट में चल रहा है, आपके पास चल रहा है, सेशंस जज के बाद 125 सीआरपीसी में चल रहा है, उसके बाद फिर and then at one point you are saying that we are going to restore the status of the woman back to the position. What about the status of the man? He also might be
A
in
victim.
you never know that often we say that if a man has lost his job, even if he has voluntarily left his job, then but by justice you have to restore him back to the position. Why won't he get the alimony in that case? And their only answer to this question, that why are we going ahead and asking them to stay for another 6 months, another 7 months, the answer one time sir said that we are just trying to preserve the family system. But I said that, sir, there is no point of preserving the family system. They're fighting like cat and dog in the
That's
court in front of you
very
only.
true. Family courts are not a pleasant sight, you know. The once married couple is only washing their dirty linen in the public, and anyways if they want to live again, they can get married again. What is the issue? So
we even saw a video where in the children room, the mother-in-law assaulted the mother in the children room in front of the child only. So sir said that only in case of children it becomes very complicated.
Very complicated. Yes, I know. I know of a lawyer who was practicing family law, but he left after a custody case. He said the mother fainted. You know, the moment the custody was given to the father, the mother fainted, and a lot of unpleasantness happened. So he said, I can't deal with this kind of cases. So he left family cases. Family law practice ही नहीं करते वो अब. So why to complicate the things further when you can easy them? India ka jo judiciary hai, that is very complicated. The procedures are very complicated. There is always we always are emphasizing on postponing the things. हर चीज को टालना चाहिए, कल पे परसों पे. They are grown ups. If a person 30-year-old is asking for divorce, they are not children. Somebody who's got married is not a child, we believe. So if that person doesn't want to live anymore, give them the permission not to live anymore. They want to live again, they get married again. So not an issue there, but just to complicate the things, they complicate it. So to carry it further, there are, a few interesting court cases that I believe the students must know, even if the cases are not in their course. And generally we do. Most of us, we are discussing various interesting cases. Day-to-day base par bhi karte hain. Of late, Ayodhya Ram Mandir case was much debated in the class, and then we have Nirbhaya is all the time children are discussing that. And of course, LGBT wale wo sare they discuss, but these are few cases that I've shortlisted and I feel they are very good and interesting, which the students must know. So the first is K.M. Nanavati versus State of Maharashtra. So the case is interesting for a number of reasons. This case was the last time there was a jury trial in India. So children get to know through this case, children get to know कि jury trial पहले India में होता था and how jury trial is done in US. And I suggest that anybody, even if there is one child in the class who is interested in knowing more about all this, you can suggest him the books written by John Grisham. John Grisham writes exclusively on law and it's a fiction. So he's written a very good book on jury trial, which I have read and I have got to know how it is done in US. So that's a very good book recommendation that you can give to the children. Then there is a book written by John Grisham, which is known as King of Torts. So you can, refer that book to the children if they would like to read this book, which is very good book on fiction on torts. So the facts of the case are K.M. Nanavati, who was a naval officer. He murdered his wife's lover, Prem Ahuja. And then we can talk about that film also, which was made on this case only. A jury trial was held to decide whether it was a crime of passion or premeditated murder, to which Nanavati pleaded not guilty. The jury ruled in favor of him, but the verdict was dismissed by the Bombay High Court and the case was retried as a bench trial. Now, when we discuss this case in the class, I have, we go to the extent of telling where are they right. Matlab, uske baad, after the case, where did he settle? What, interesting, things they are doing. We have Anita Setia ma'am with us. Good afternoon, ma'am. In fact, good morning, ma'am.
Very good morning, ma'am.
Anita Setia ma'am is with us. Ma'am, can you hear us? Good morning, ma'am. This is one very, very interesting case that our children must be aware of. So the reason why they should be aware of is because of, that it was a last jury trial case held in India. So they get to know about jury trial also this way. The second interesting case is State of Orissa versus Ram Bahadur Thapa. Now, this is an old case, but nevertheless, the facts of the case are very interesting. So this will captivate the interest in the students. So this is, like I said, it's a very bizarre case, so it's a very strange case. Ram Bahadur Thapa was the servant of one J.B. Chatterjee of Chatterjee Brothers firm in Calcutta. So they had come to Rosso Govindpur, a village in Balasore district in Orissa, to purchase aero scrap from an abandoned aerodrome outside the village. So he accompanied his master. Because it was abandoned, the locals believed it was haunted. This piqued the curiosity of Chatterjee, who wanted to see the ghosts. At night, as they were making their way to the aerodrome, they saw a flickering light within the premises, which due to the strong wind seemed to move. They thought that it was Willow the Wisp. Thapa jumped into action and he used his khurki to attack the ghost. And it happened so that in this, attack, he ended up hurting one of the, he injured two women and ended up killing one. So the session court judge, however, acquitted Thapa, declaring that his actions were the result of a stern belief in ghosts and that in the moment, Thapa believed that they were lawfully justified. So very important aspect of this case is also, when we are teaching them criminal law, we teach them the two elements, there of crime, that is actus rea and mens rea. So again, a good case of, telling them that how important it is to, for criminal liability to arise is that one need to also have mens rea. Okay, not just the action, guilty action, but you should also have a guilty mind. So with the help of these case laws, we can make the things easier and clearer for the students. And it will also enhance their critical learning, their analytical thinking, which can help them in doing various application-based questions. Okay, again from crime aspect, and like we discussed in our previous PDP also, that children are very fascinated with law of crime. Criminal law is one thing they're very attentive throughout the, the course of the lesson. So one case there where we can say how the mental element is very important for deciding, for arising the criminal liabilities. Okay, now moving on, Mathura rape case, like we discussed it today also, like when we were discussing which case do you think children are very fond of, discussing. So Nirbhaya case we have talked about, Mathura case, one of you only mentioned that Mathura case is also discussed here. So this is again an old case, 1972. Nevertheless, the importance of the case cannot be mitigated. This is one of the most important cases in the country because the protest that followed the verdict forced some important changes in case laws in India. Now we are talking about PIL. हम PIL बच्चों को इतना डिटेल में पढ़ाते हैं. We are telling them what is PIL, how a common person has been equipped, empowered to reach out to the judiciary for the rights of underprivileged. So you, me, everybody is empowered by judiciary to become powerful and fight for the weaker sections of the society. And we have seen many cases where public has played a very instrumental role in, judiciary was forced to reopen the case, re-examine the facts, and then give the verdict. At this point of time, can you think of any case where public sentiments has played a very important role in, judiciary to...
Nirbhaya case is example of that.
Absolutely correct, Sonal ma'am. Nirbhaya case has, there were a lot of protest, candlelit march, and people were, the media was also pro some, solid laws against the such kind of atrocities on the women. And then we have also seen the importance of, public sentiments in Jessica Lal case, if you remember. Jessica Lal case may also, the public played a very important role. How the entire population of India has become into one. They knew that he is the person who has killed this innocent woman and the justice should be done. So the kind of pressure that public can put on the judiciary to revise, revisit the case, go through the facts and evidences. So very important cases. With the help of this one, we can discuss. So we can discuss Jessica Lal case in the class. We can discuss Nirbhaya case, which we often keep doing. And this all started with Mathura rape case. Yes, Anika ma'am?
Another case would be Ajmal Kasab case.
Ajmal Kasab case. Yes, Ajmal Kasab case is very interesting, especially when we are teaching them legal aid. जब हम legal aid का concept बच्चे को पढ़ाते हैं, which is our unit 6, उस समय it becomes very important to discuss Ajmal Kasab case, because no lawyer was ready to contest his case, if you remember. So, you know, somebody has to do this kind of devil's advocate work also at times. So we tell them how in India judiciary is, you know, we believe in giving a fair trial even to the enemy person, right? So Ajmal Kasab case is also a good case which can be discussed in legal services unit. So the facts of the case of Mathura case is, Mathura, a young tribal woman, was raped by 2 constables within the premises of the Desaiganj police station in Chandrapur district of Maharashtra. The Sessions Court judge found the accused not guilty. The reasoning behind this was that Mathura was habituated to sexual intercourse. This, according to the judge, clearly implied that the sexual act in the police station was consensual. The amendments to the law that was forced by the protest got one thing right: submission does not mean consent. Okay, so very important aspect that we are teaching the children here, and we can also refer to the movie also, because like I said, the audios and videos play a very important role in a learner's life. When you show them something, it stays for a very long time. And we can refer to here briefly about that courtroom scene which was given by Amitabh Bachchan in Pink. You know, very relevant thing which we can tell. With the help of audio visuals also it can be told. So a clarity was made with the help of this case that submission does not mean consent. Now, of course, the landmark case and the pillar, I'll say it's a pillar of Indian judiciary. It is Keshwananda Bharti case, which is known for a number of reasons. If there is one reason India can still call itself the world's largest democracy, it is this case. So we can all understand how important this case, and the reason every child has heard about this case. Even if they do not know many details of the case, they have, because whenever I ask them in the class, they say, ma'am, I've heard of this case. You know, I may not give you the facts, but yes, I've heard of this case. This is so important. Swami Keshwananda Bharti ran a Hindu mutt in Adnir village in Kerala, but the state wanted to appropriate the land. Bharti, who was consulted by noted jurist Nanabhai Palkiwala, filed a petition claiming that a religious institution had the right to run its business without government interference. State invoked Article 31, which states no person shall be deprived of his property save by authority of law. Now, a bench of 13 judges. This is one case where the 13 judges had deliberated upon and has given this judgment runs into many hundred pages. So a bench of 13 judges deliberated on the facts of the case, and through a narrow 7-6 majority formulated the basic structure doctrine, which puts some restrictions to how much the parliament can amend the constitutional laws. In many ways, the judgment here is considered to be a big middle finger to the then central government under Indira Gandhi. So what we really need to really understand here is, right from the very first unit in class 11th, we are telling the children about basic structure. We are telling them, the first thing that we tell them is, we're talking of constitution continuously, and we are telling them what is basic structure. So whenever we are telling them the doctrine of basic structure, because isse application based questions or AEC bahut bante hain, we can give the children a situation and we can ask them which principle will stop the government from doing so. So this is one case in which the Supreme Court of India has clearly defined what all comes under basic structure, because prior to this in Golaknath case, the basic structure phrase was used. Okay, it was used without clearly defining it. But in this case, the government has clearly defined what is basic structure. So this is very important case, and when we ask them to do their project, a large number of students prefer to pick this case up. because this is often discussed in the class. We discuss it in class 11, then we also carry it forward in class 12. So, and we do have Keshwananda Bharti case mentioned in the book at 2 places. So it's very important to have a clear understanding of this case, which can be, because in our syllabus, we have not discussed it in detail. Okay, and we say that judiciary is there to protect your fundamental rights. So this is one case where we tell the children how judiciary is protecting your fundamental rights. Right? Anything? Yes, Anika ma'am, you would like to say something.
Ma'am, in this case, you can also, I don't know how many of you remember this. This is actually a question for 1 crore rupees in KBC, that which was the case in which 13 judges sat together, which was the only case in which
It's the
Nana
only case. It's the only case in India. That is right. So
K.M.
we
Nana
can.
has also been
Yes,
asked in
ma'am, I do
KBC.
remember.
The case called the last jury trial. So these cases have been asked in at platforms such as KBC also, and even in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, the 13 judges. No one in the world has ever sat with 13 judges together. So this case has been there in 2 major game shows also.
So great, Anika ma'am, for sharing this piece of information with us, because we would like to share it with our students, that how important this case is, that it has been mentioned in such an important game show. So this is a question of 1 crore. So children can understand the seriousness of the case. This is a very important case that we have it here. And definitely we go into great details to discuss the case. Good to share the pictures of Keshwananda Bharti with them, because they should know how he looks. When we show them the pictures, children are able to very quickly recall it. Right. Moving on, NALSA versus Union of India. So NALSA is in our course. We deal with it. We tell them various provisions of NALSA. And this is like we had a very detailed discussion in the morning session, how children are very proactive about the rights of the other genders as well. So this is one case that children find very, very interesting. This is the landmark decision by the Supreme Court of India, which declared that transgendered people were the third gender and they had equal rights as any other gender. The petitioners in this case was National Legal Services Authority. So this is one case which we can discuss with the children. Like I told you, when you talk to them, they're very, very proactive and they are very passionate about the rights of the third gender. We can also tell them how, as a society, we are evolving. We are accepting the new things. Since we are a conservative society, we take our own sweet time in, it takes time for the laws to come into place. But yes, we tell them how in the, you can tell them that whenever the children are filling the form also for any competitive paper, for their board exams, anything, then now the third gender is recognized. We can, talk to them on this thing also. Then we have a next very interesting case is Muhammad Ahmad Khan versus Shah Bano Begum, that happened in the year 1985. So the facts of the case are, this 62-year-old mother of 5, Shah Bano Begum, was divorced by her husband, Muhammad Ahmad Khan. She filed a criminal suit against him in the Supreme Court and claimed alimony, which was then granted to her. But then the Islamic Orthodoxy protested the judgment, claiming the practice of granting alimony as anti-Islamic. The Congress government, which was in power back then, succumbed to the pressure and passed the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Divorce Act 1986, which diluted the Supreme Court judgment and further denied destitute Muslim divorcees the right to alimony from their ex-husbands. This case is regularly mentioned during talks about Uniform Civil Code in the country. Now we are talking about Uniform Civil Code when we teach children family law in 11th, class 11th. Okay, class 11th, we are teaching them family law. That's the time when we are teaching them about how the Muslims are governed and what laws governs the others. So it is very clearly mentioned in the book, the Uniform Civil Code, how it was envisaged by the lawmakers that eventually this will be incorporated. And if you read yesterday's newspaper, then you will find that Delhi High Court has given an observation. It is their direction also, we can call it direction, that they have asked the central government to do something about UCC. They say that it is one nation, one law, so that should be done now. So Shah Bano case is very important case, which is mentioned in the book, which we tell them and which we should be telling them in, in their class 11th itself when we are doing family law. because this also tells us how the relationship is between judiciary and legislature. Okay, how respite which was given by the judiciary was overturned by the legislature by making this law. So an important law there, and I believe most of the students in the class are very sympathetic towards the women. And when it comes to alimony, most of the time, children are asking me, because we have boys also in the class. So children ask these very interesting questions. You also share your experience with me. They are asking these questions, ma'am, what if the female is earning more than the husband? Can, husband claim alimony? No, this is wrong, ma'am. Men always giving the alimony. Then you have to talk about how the society was some 50 years back, when the laws were made, when the constitution was drafted, how the society was given an order, and most of the men were earning and most of the females were looking after the family. So men were considered, historically, men were considered to be the breadwinner of the family. But now, of course, the things have changed. And in one of the High Court observations I have read, that the judge actually rapped the female. He gave a scolding to the female and said that you are educated, you are you can earn your money, so there is no point asking for alimony. So court is often making these observations. What do you say? Can you share any of your experience, Sonal ma'am, Madhvi ma'am, Anika ma'am?
Yes, students do ask about the same question, that why only men should give alimony. If wife
Yeah.
is earning more, she should give alimony. They do, and even in fact, even girls also come up with this kind of a point, that yes, on one hand you said it is a right to equality, we all are equal. So then why this difference is there? So they come
Absolutely.
up with this point.
So these are the kind of cases which is giving food to the children. They can think up, they can analyze, they can question. They can. We are living in changing times, so laws need to change. Yes, Anika ma'am.
Right, ma'am. So there was this one time there was a case in front of me wherein a person had lost his job in Jet Airways because Jet Airways was closed. So he was at the post of a senior civil aviation engineer, and therein he lost his job from a salary of 3 lakh per month. He came down to zero, and therein he was contesting a case for divorce against his wife, and in that case, we were from the side that he should get maintenance, and definitely a case can be made up in Hindu Marriage Act under Section 24 and 20 under Section 24, because it's not a gender it's not a one-sided gender law. It's a gender neutral.
In fact, the reality is that females have to give alimony to husband,
Right.
if the husband is not earning or female is earning more.
And then there is this district judge. Now I think she has been elevated to the. She was earlier a principal judge of family court. Now she has been elevated. But at that point of time in Delhi, there was a judge, Justice Madhu Jain. She was there, and she used to be very strict with everyone. Not just with females or males. Just very strict. And even if someone would just fake cry in her court, she would instantly give them costs, and she would not shy away. She has also given in two cases she did give alimony to husbands also, wherein they had lost their jobs due to certain genuine reasons, not because they had actually just quit their job because they were starting with divorce cases, but they did got evicted from their job for genuine reasons. She did award maintenance to, because the female and the male were in the same company, and the male was kicked out of the company.
The job, his job.
Because the boss was favoring the female. He had some kind of a equation with the female, so he kicked the husband out, and therein he got the alimony in that case. This is a genuine live example that happened in front of me.
So, how with the help of these cases, we can encourage debates in the class, and we encourage our children to debate on solid logics and legal aspect. Not the passions run very high at times in our classes. Children are very passionate about certain things which may not be right always. So UCC is one thing that we are often discussing, and most of the children feel that yes, it should be brought now. Then we have, again, it's a very funny case, and a film has also been made on this case, Lal Bihari identity case. So Lal Bihari, who was born in 1955, was dead through 75 to 94. And since then, he has been activist. His uncle had bribed government officials to declare him dead so as to inherit their ancestral land. And so as per official records, Mr. Lal Bihari was registered as deceased. Once he realized what had happened, he started his struggle against the Indian bureaucracy to prove that he was alive. In the meantime, he performed his mock funeral, asked for widow's compensation for his wife, stood in the election against Rajiv Gandhi in 1989, and even added a Mritak to his name. As of now, he heads an organization that tries to handle similar identity cases for people who have been officially declared dead but are actually still alive. So that's a very funny case, you know, in one of the films or series.
Kagas movie,
Pankaj
Kagas.
Tripathi, no,
Pankaj
he has
Tripathi.
played
This is a Kagas
Pankaj
movie.
Tripathi. Yeah, so that's very interesting case. So it becomes
It's
difficult
quite
for the children
interesting
to.
movie also.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, children find it very difficult to digest that such things actually happen, but they do happen. We have a case here, so cases can be very bizarre. They can be very strange. And you know, towards the end of the class, we can take up one such case, and it barely takes 5-10 minutes. But we can have some lighter moments. And this way children can you know, उनकी knowledge regarding case laws can also go up. Then we have Bhaval case. This is a very old case, and looking at the pictures also we can you know, find out. It's still regarded as one of India's weirdest identity cases. It mainly revolved around a possible imposter who claimed to be the prince of Bhaval state, one which comprised over 2,000 villages and was one of the undivided Bengal's largest zamindari states. Ramendra, the second Kumar of Bhaval state, died in the early 20th century, but there were rumors about him not really being dead. 10 years later, in 1921, a sannyasi who looked a lot like Ramendra was found wandering the streets of Dhaka. For some reason, the former tenants and farmers of Ramendra vouched for this man and also supported his claim to the title. Almost everyone except Ramendra's widow, Bibhavati, believed him. There was a long legal process involving two trials where both sides attempted to prove their claims. In the meantime, the new Ramendra also moved to Calcutta, and where he was welcomed in the elite circles. He used to regularly collect 1/3 of the estate revenue, which was his share. He used that money to support his lifestyle, which while also paying the legal fees of the case. Now look at the tragedy, you know, in the end in 1946, the court finally ruled in his favor. So finally the court ruling was in his favor, but soon after that he passed away due to a stroke he had suffered a couple of days earlier. Now this is very interesting case, and you know, while I'm discussing this case, I also tell them about various other such identity or imposter cases also. If you remember, then there is this you know, Russian royal family, जार निकोलाई टू की जो फैमिली थी, उसमें एनास्टाजिया का एक केस इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे चला था, बहुत टाइम चला था, बिकॉज ऑफ ऑल द बॉडीज रिकवर्ड, वन ऑफ द बॉडी वाज नॉट फाउंड, दैट वाज एनास्टाजिया. शी वाज द डॉटर, youngest daughter of Tsar Nikolai II. The entire family was assassinated in Bolshevik movement rebellion. So this girl's body was not recovered. I mean, the remains were not recovered. And you know, many years later, there was this girl who claimed to be Anastasia, and she had given a lot of proof and unrefutable proof. ऐसे ऐसे उसने proof दिए थे. It was becoming very difficult because अगर had she kept on fighting that legal battle and she died without it being resolved. But had she been had that thing been resolved, and had she been accepted as the royalty or the surviving member of that family, then she would have ascended the throne. Okay, so you know, we can, you know, give them other similar cases also that can be discussed with them. Then we have Tarakeshwar case, and this case was so popular that authorities had to sell tickets to let people come inside the sessions court. Okay, so the session courts also sold the tickets because this was so many people wanted to come and witness it. And the story itself is nothing short of a blockbuster. Nobin Chandra slit the throat of his 16-year-old wife, Ilokeshi, who was apparently having an affair with the Mahant of local Tarakeshwar temple. Even though Nobin Chandra handed himself over to the police and confessed his crime, the locals were mostly on his side. The police had to let him go after 2 years, even though he was serving a life imprisonment, while the Mahant was arrested and put behind bars for 3 years. Alternatively, there were also rumors that the Mahant had raped Ilokeshi on the pretext of helping her out with fertility issues. This case was really important for that time period because this was seen by the society as one of those moments where the British rulers meddled in the affairs of the Bengali Bhadralok and a temple priest, something that was very rare back in those days. So, you know, this is very interesting case, and a similar case which I tell them along with this case is O.J. Simpson case. Have you heard of this case? This is an American case, O.J. Simpson.
Yes.
तो ये यहाँ पर इस केस में भी हम कह रहे हैं कि लोगों की sympathy was with the person who had committed the crime. In OJ's case also, you know, that's one case जिसको जितना pending कर सकते थे वो उन्होंने करा, because the government did not want any black and white riots over there. So it ran for a great number of days, as a result of which जो jury थी, jury में majority black हो गए, change कर करके इतने हो गए वो majority black हो गए, and people had you know, of course, people had sympathy with OJ also, because apparently his wife was having an affair with somebody. So there were some people who had sympathy with OJ Simpson. So when we are discussing Tarakeshwar case, because that's a very old case, we can discuss about OJ Simpson case also, and chances are that children may remember him for you know, his sporting background. So that's about Tarakeshwar. And last but not the least, this is very important, Vishakha and others versus state of Rajasthan, very much in our syllabus, both in 11th and 12th. It's mentioned there. So before the Vishakha guidelines came in, the workplace was dangerous for many women, especially in case of sexual harassment. In 1992, Bhanwari Devi was gang raped by upper caste men in her village because she tried to raise her voice against child marriage. Due to gross negligence, the vaginal swabs collected from her body were taken 48 hours after the incident. Ideally, it should be done so within 24 hours. Shockingly, the judge presiding over her case acquitted the accused, even going so far to say, since the offenders were upper caste men and included a Brahmin, the rape could not have taken place because Bhamari was from lower caste. Following the outrage over this acquittal, Vishakha and some other women's groups filed a PIL against the state of Rajasthan and the Union of India, forcing the latter to adopt the Vishakha guidelines, which now protects working women all over the country. So a very important case which children often you know, choose to be a part of their project. I have seen many children picking this case, Vishakha and others versus state of Rajasthan. So very important case there, and also sensitizing the children towards the, you know, importance of respecting the space of women at the workplace. So in absence of the law, a lot of atrocities in the past had been committed, but now we have many laws in place to protect the women from any kind of predatory sexual action in various forms, and how we can Vishakha guidelines हम बच्चों को पढ़ा भी सकते हैं. I mean, we can tell them about what these guidelines actually are, how it is important to have a compulsory, rather not important, compulsory to have a committee there to be presided by a female. If a complaint of such molestation or this thing comes, then it has to be heard. Okay, they cannot just brush it under the rug. And जब Me Too movement चला था तब तो we have discussed this case a lot. I don't know about how was it in your class. We had a lot of discussions in when this Me Too movement was going on, when many people decided to come, you know, out of the, you know, this thing and tell what has happened to them. So how is dealing with Vishakha guidelines in the class?
Actually, during this Me Too thing, lot of children, lot of students also had a doubt whether it is a genuine case or they are just doing it like it's flowing with the river kind of a thing.
Okay.
What they felt that some cases might be genuine, but lot of things like it more of a revenge cases or a vendetta cases.
But see, Me Too movement jo tha, that was not to do with taking the culprit to the court. It was more to do with generating awareness and gathering the courage and say that I've been wronged by so and so. Okay, and they
that for that also they were like कि ma'am हो सकता है कि they want to be more popular on social media. I mean they were of a different lot of different opinions were there about this
and you know, I
entire
was
thing.
so surprised and I was so shocked to hear the name of some very popular people. I had held them in very high esteem, and then their
Exactly.
names were also taken out. And I believe that if you take the name of a well-established person, you would not be doing it for gaining popularity, because there are going to be repercussions also. I mean, somebody has taken the name of Chetan Bhagat. He had immediately tendered the apology. Why would he do that? You tell me one thing. Why would he do that? अगर उसने करा नहीं था तो वो बिल्कुल उसको he would have stood the ground and said no. But he very next day he had given the apology. And MJ Akbar का नाम आया था. MJ Akbar was asked to leave. उसको गवर्नमेंट ने उसके उससे वो कर दिया था उसकी पोस्ट से. So any woman who is after years has come out would not do it for. We believe, see, हर किसी भी law का misuse होता है, but that doesn't mean that law should not be made. बच्चों को ये बहुत चीज़ लगती है कि domestic violence का laws होते हैं, misuse करती हैं females to their advantage, and वो ये misuse करती हैं. So they have always queries regarding the laws that protect the women. You know, even the girls are asking the question, ma'am, why only women? Men are also being wrong. Men can look at the percentage. Anybody who is wrong should get justice irrespective of the gender. But you look at the numbers. Dowry death जब हो रही थी 80s में, then imagine the kind of numbers. They would drive you crazy, the kind of numbers that we dealt in, and the law had to be made. अब law तो हर चीज का होता है और हर law का misuse होता है, तो this is not the only this thing, you know, कि women laws को बहुत misuse होता है, and repercussions भी होते हैं जो court उनको punish करती है और जो बुरी वाली scolding देती है वो तो we don't know ना, we just know कि so and so has initiated a case against that one. अगर वो गलत है तो फिर उसके repercussions भी होते हैं.
मैम डाउरी डेथ तो आज भी हो रही है इतने सालों के बाद लॉ बनने के बाद. सो दैट इज व्हाट दे नीड टू बी एनलाइटेंड अबाउट, दैट इवन दो यू आर सेइंग दैट लॉज क्यों है, लेकिन लॉज होने के बाद भी देखो अभी तक अगर चल रहे थे, दैट मीन्स दैट इट इज अ वेरी परवेसिव थॉट in the minds of our citizens. We have to remove that thought process, and until that is there, how do you expect the law not to be there?
Absolutely. So laws are there. It's a crime to kill anybody, but every day somebody is killing somebody. So laws are there. So laws are there to protect the people, and also वो जो हम objectives of crime कराते हैं deterrence का, तो majority के लिए तो deterrence का काम करता ही है. Laws, we all are scared of being put behind the bar. Majority of the people, not talking of the people who are they are criminals or they have that kind of tendency, so that these people cannot be stopped. But laws are for the majority people, and the majority of the people do not commit the crime. It's only certain section or certain percentage that commit the crime. Majority of us do not commit the crime. So at this point, I will take a break from the topic of the day, that is how case laws can make legal studies class interesting. And we can take up very recent cases also to discuss that in the class, and we must make it a point to discuss them in every class, at least one case, right? That will also break the monotony, will increase the general knowledge, will help the children, and will also, their interest in legal studies will be intact. क्योंकि कभी-कभी topics ऐसे आते हैं बड़े monotonous होते हैं. They are so monotonous, and the children suddenly they start missing the classes. So keep certain element of interest in the class. Okay, they know that ma'am is going to discuss something interesting, or there's going to be a quiz, or there's going to be some kind of video or something. So that's it for the class today regarding the topic, and let's have a very quick discussion on the kind of questions that we need to make. Now the syllabus, we have 7 units in class 12, and 7 units has to be divided 50-50. So what we have done is we have taken unit 1, 2 and 3 for first term exams that is going to be conducted in the month of November and December. Okay, so that will be in unit 1, 2 and 3. Of course, in unit 2 we are not having administrative law. Syllabus that will go for the assessment will be rationalized. So of these 3, जो typology हम follow करेंगे question की, we will have remembrance and understanding, which is from the book. Okay, you can pick anything from the book. Remembrance and understanding is that the children has read it in the book, and then the question has come from the book and they can write the answer. So few questions have to be on typology, has to be R and U, and then We are going to have application-based questions. We are going to have analytical questions. We are going to have creative questions where the child is being asked to give his opinion, or if he were in that situation, what would he have done? Of course, the answer all are going to be based on the principles of law only, but typology alag ho jayegi uski. We are going to have HOTS, so you can give lot of fill up, no not fill up, creative में वो आ जाता है आपका match the following आ जाता है. ओके, यू कैन गिव, जैसे एडीआर में बहुत अच्छे मैच द फॉलोइंग बनते हैं. आप मैच द फॉलोइंग 4 तरीके के एडीआर दे दीजिए और उसके अगेंस्ट एक एक सब्जेक्ट मैटर दे दीजिए कोई भी, जैसे फैमिली डिस्प्यूट, नेबरहुड डिस्प्यूट, तो कौन सा किससे इफेक्टिव होगा, इंश्योरेंस डिस्प्यूट. सो दैट इज द काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन. Make the children practice lot of application based question. Each and every line from the chapter should be tried to try and make it into a case study and let them practice it. अभी मैंने लॉ ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का अपनी कल की क्लास में करवाया था. आई जनरली टेक 10 क्वेश्चंस पर क्लास बिकॉज इट अदरवाइज टेक्स लॉट ऑफ टाइम. सो मैंने ज़्यादातर उनको एक्सेप्टेंस एंड ऑफर और कंसिडरेशन से ही करवाए थे. सारे के सारे अलग अलग तरीके से पूछे थे उनसे. So I still feel that most of the students got the answer incorrect. उनको ना because what children do is they bring in their own understanding and bias into the case study. Emotional हो जाते हैं बच्चे. Okay, so we have to tell them to resolve or solve the case study as per the law, what the law says. तो law के हिसाब से हमको रहना पड़ेगा. In case you have any query, you may ask me about it. As far as developing question bank is concerned, we can all make questions at our end and we can share with each other on the group. So that will give us access to lots of questions. Any questions, Sonal, regarding first term exam? Or Madhvi, Kavya? हाँ, I was telling you,
so I was out of that.
No, I was telling that we have to make a lot of application and creative question for children. That's where they get it wrong. And at the same time, remembrance और वो understanding के भी बहुत सारे question पूछने हैं उनसे.
Okay.
मैम एक तो हमें इस बार एक चीज ये ध्यान रखनी है
कि assertion reasoning questions.
Assertion reasoning भी आएगा. Yes, assertion reasoning questions. अभी
Ma'am,
right.
Piyush ma'am,
it on the basis of remembrance and understanding only, no?
Assertion नहीं. Assertion and reasoning is going to be application.
Application, okay.
Application, हाँ, application में आता है वो. हमारे question ना typology में ना we have to वो Bloom's taxonomy को follow करते हुए कि question ऐसे नहीं शुरू होना चाहिए. And as per board's instructions जो हमें मिले हुए हैं, कोई भी question not नहीं होना चाहिए. Which of the following is not an ADR? तो question में not नहीं होना चाहिए. ठीक है, ये हमको बड़े क्लियरली बोला हुआ है कि नॉट नहीं होना चाहिए. द अदर थिंग इज दैट कोई भी ऑप्शन में नन नहीं होना चाहिए. नन ऑफ द अबव ऑप्शन नहीं होता है, वो कहते हैं. अच्छा, इसके अलावा अगर रिमेम्बरेंस और उसका आप कोई क्वेश्चन बना रहे हो तो ऑप्शन सारे लॉजिकल होने चाहिए. कोई भी आउट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड नहीं होना चाहिए. कोई एक नया तरीके का हमने एडीआर बना दिया अपनी तरफ से, वो नहीं होना चाहिए. It has to be a genuine alternative, an option for the children. So you cannot make any option on your own. जैसे हमने कहा कि which of the following is an ADR where the neutral third party also gives a solution. Okay, तो हमने उसमें arbitration लिख दिया, mediation लिख दिया, conciliation लिख दिया और fourth हमने अपनी तरफ से कुछ बना दिया, self help group करके लिख दिया कुछ अपनी तरफ से. तो वो allowed नहीं है. Options have to be what children have read. They should not be made up by the paper setter. Okay, just to give you an example. So अगर हम यहाँ पर लिख रहे हैं, हम लोग पूछ रहे हैं कि whenever there is water sharing dispute, so how the Supreme Court will resolve it, under which jurisdiction? तो हमने वहाँ पर लिख लिया advisory jurisdiction, original, और हमने appellate लिख दिया और fourth हमने अपनी तरफ से कुछ और बना लिया. तो वो बनाना नहीं है हमको. It has to be a logical alternative or logical option. Any other this thing question? I can share with you once the SQP comes out. I can share with you the questions that we have made. We have made lots of questions. So I'll share that docket with you because अभी हमारा वो finalize नहीं हुआ है, okay भी नहीं हुआ है, तो we may need to pick the questions from our docket soon.
Ma'am, जैसे हमारा पिछली बार सैम्पल पेपर के बेसिस पे हम जैसे पैटर्न डिसाइड करते हैं प्री बोर्ड्स का, जैसे अब जब तक सीबीएसई का सैम्पल पेपर रिलीज नहीं होता तो तब तक हम तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते ना अपनी तरफ से। वी कैन टेल द स्टूडेंट्स, जैसे स्टूडेंट्स पूछते हैं कितने मार्क्स, कितने क्वेश्चंस होंगे।
नहीं, you can tell them. This has come in the circular. 40 questions होंगे, 40 MCQ, 90 minutes, 33% internal choice.
Oh, for all the subjects.
All the subjects, yes, it is uniform. 40 questions, 33% internal choice, and 90 minutes. That is how their first term paper will be conducted. And I believe that you can start giving them some practice, because I am sure judiciary सबका हो गया होगा. Okay, हमने judiciary property कर लिया होगा. Start making these application based questions and keep giving them practice.
MCQ होंगे,
सारे MCQ होंगे.
40 MCQ करने हैं for 90 minutes.
For 90 minutes, yes. 40 MCQs for 90 minutes.
Okay.
33% choice भी होगी. And we also need to give them the practice of picking the best of the given choices also. कई बार तो बच्चों को यही नहीं पता होता कि question कौन सा pick करना चाहिए. You know, they end up picking up the wrong choice question. So we give them this practice also.
और मैम वी विल फॉलो दिस फर्स्ट टर्म का पैटर्न फॉर बोथ 11th एंड 12th, जो है 40 MCQ वाला है, ये हम दोनों में
12th का तो बड़ा क्लियर इंस्ट्रक्शंस आ गए हैं, सारे स्कूलों में ही आ गए हैं कि नाउ यू हैव टू मेक ओनली MCQs एंड टेस्ट देम ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ MCQ. उनका सब्जेक्टिव नहीं होगा 12th का. ओके, 11th का वी आर वेटिंग, एंड 11th का वी आर गोइंग टू फॉलो रैशनलाइज्ड सिलेबस ओनली लास्ट ईयर का, क्योंकि 11th का सेंट्रलाइज्ड हो सकता है पेपर बने, हम सभी लोग बनाएं और किसी एक का पेपर आए जैसे आता है, तो हम लोग सारा का सारा रैशनलाइज्ड सिलेबस फॉलो करेंगे.
मैम वो तो लास्ट में होता है फाइनल, बीच बीच में जैसे पेपर होते रहते हैं, जैसे अभी मेरा एक यूटी हो गया 12th का, अभी एक मेरा 11th का यूटी रहता है.
उसके लिए हमें तो बोला था कि डोंट गिव फुल MCQ, फॉलो द ओल्ड पैटर्न, गिव देम 2 markers also, because I asked the same thing. I have a UT coming up on 22nd July for class 11th, but they said कि नहीं, don't give them full MCQ.
Piyush ma'am?
There is some problem with connection, I think.
I think she'll come back in 2 minutes. She was already saying that there is some problem with the connection.
Ah, exactly. Because it happened with me also a few minutes back. Anika, you can send the feedback form again in the group. Your audio is not, your voice is not audible.
I have shared it on both sides, ma'am, in on Teams also and here also, in our group also.
I'm so sorry, guys. There was a power cut at our place, and I'm joined through mobile now. So, Madhvi, what was your question?
No मैम, it's clear. मैंने वही 11th का पूछा था, आप कह रहे हैं 11th का तो अभी कुछ ऐसा नहीं है, 12th की क्लियर कट गाइडलाइंस आ गई ना, जैसे 11th का अगर फर्स्ट टर्म होता है.
हाँ हाँ.
तो what
11th का अब जो हमारा एग्जामिनेशन डिपार्टमेंट कहेगा ऑब्जेक्टिव सब्जेक्टिव दोनों, तो वी आर गोइंग टू गो फॉर बोथ ऑफ दीज, ऑब्जेक्टिव सब्जेक्टिव दोनों हम कराएंगे. अगर वो बोलता है सिर्फ MCQs होगा तो फिर MCQ के हिसाब से कराएंगे. सो विल वेट फॉर द इंस्ट्रक्शंस फ्रॉम आवर एग्जाम डिपार्टमेंट, बट 12th के लिए बहुत क्लियर है कि इट हैज टू बी MCQs.
मैम 12th के लिए term 2 के लिए मैम do we need to prepare child for case studies also, like is there going to be MCQs only, or is there going to be a subjective pattern which is going to follow for class 12 for term 2? Am I audible, Piyush ma'am?
What was your Kavya, what was your question?
Ma'am, for term 2, do we need to prepare child for case study questions also, or do we need to prepare child for only MCQ kind of questions?
Of course we have to. Abhi term 2 ka board has said that they have everything depends on how the situation is going to be. If the situation will be conducive, then a proper exam will be conducted. It will be subjective also. But if the conditions do not permit, then they will go ahead and conduct another MCQ paper in term 2 also.
Okay ma'am, thank you.
सो दिस ईयर लाइक ये वाला हमारा जो बैच था ना, इसका बिल्कुल भी टेस्टिंग नहीं हो पाया किसी भी तरीके से, वो चांसेस नहीं लेंगे अब बोर्ड विल नॉट टेक दैट काइंड ऑफ चांसेस नाउ. इस वाले करंट बैच का तो आप मान के चलिए ऑनलाइन होगा ही होगा, एंड द क्वेश्चंस आर गोइंग टू बी कॉन्सेप्ट बेस्ड इन विच द चाइल्ड कैन नॉट ओपन द बुक्स एंड कैन नॉट चीट फ्रॉम इंटरनेट. अंडरस्टैंडिंग बहुत जरूरी है कॉन्सेप्ट की. Any other question? So I'll share with you the questions that I have been, making once the SQP is this thing. So I have questions from the various teachers also, which I'll share with you. So this will give you some question bank. Okay. And at any point of time, if you need any particular questions from any, chapter, just let us know on the group. We can all share our questions.
That would be really helpful, ma'am. We can get some questions, because then that would give us also.
Anika, have you shared the feedback form?
Yes, shared there.
Okay.
I hope everyone else has filled the other form also for Madhuri ma'am also.
मैम जो न्यू आपने फीडबैक फॉर्म भेजा है ना, उसमें मैम का टॉपिक नहीं आ रहा. लाइक अमंगस्ट ऑल द टॉपिक्स आई वाज जस्ट सीइंग, अभी मैं आई वाज जस्ट सीइंग,
It is there.
टॉपिक तो नहीं
It is
आ रहा.
there, it
मैम
is
का
there.
नेम इज देयर. आई
नहीं
कैन नॉट
टॉपिक
सी
भी है, नीचे नीचे जाओ.
हाँ, ओके, आई कैन सी इंपॉर्टेंट केस स्टडीज. फाइन, आई फाउंड.
हाँ, वो लॉन्ग लिस्ट है ना, उसमें दिखता नहीं है कई बार यार. मेरे को पिछले वाले फीडबैक उसके लिए नहीं दिख रहा था. Get ready for the next session. If you have any query, please post it on the group.
Sorry, I think all of us are facing some kind of a network issue over here right now.
हाँ, हो रहा है. कल से कॉल ड्रॉप बहुत हो रही है.
Is it possible for everyone to turn on the cameras just for a minute? I'll just take one group photograph.
Anika, just give me a minute. I'm joining from laptop.
Sorry. Okay, ma'am. Kavya ma'am and Madhu ma'am, please just stay for 2 minutes.
Yes, I will just.
I'll just take one group photograph.
Anika, you are on mute.
I was asking Kavya ma'am and Madhu ma'am, can you just turn on your camera once? I'll just take the picture and then I think we can end the
Ma'am.
meeting for today.
Ma'am, we have turned on.
They have all turned on. I can see them all.
हो गया ma'am pen.
Piyush, take the picture then, because yeah, I cannot see everyone's camera right now.
Okay, wait, I'll take it. I've taken a few photographs.
Right. Thank
you,
you
ma'am.
so much, ma'am. This was a very good session. Actually, I know which
Thank you
issues
for
to
being
discuss
such
now.
wonderful colleagues and very interactive session. Thank you guys. Take care.
Thank you so much, Piyush ma'am. Thank you so much for
Thank you
such an
so much,
enriching
ma'am. It was
Pleasure.
really
Anytime, any day, any day.